Hey guys, this is GamerCat. Welcome to Touhou Puppet Dance Performance. This thing got English patched fairly recently, and I've been playing it for the last week or so by myself, just finishing everything up. Decided not to do a blind playthrough recording stuff for this because I felt mechanically the game wasn't going to do well with it, and to be honest, I was kind of right with that. The menus can be a bit clunky to go through, the exploration on the dungeons is a bit I don't know, there's a lot of negative possibility space in this game, and that's kind of bad. But all of that is aside the point now, because we are going to be showing off a grinding method for post-game. So obvious spoilers are obvious. If you've not played this game already, you may want to tune away until you have finished it, because we are at the very last area, and we will be going through not what you see during the main game, but the refights do have a couple of puppets in line with what's in the main game. Real game is not really worth that, but this is assuming, of course, that you've done all the reincarnating stuff you need to get perfect parents, and you have a couple of item stuff. Really, it's Straw Doll is what you need to buy. Beyond that, we're pretty much good to go. And you don't even technically need Straw Doll, you just need to be lucky if you don't have it. So, 2 puppet method for clearing this entire place, and one of my friends Ross actually looked up a little bit about this, and that's why we have Aya here, because Aya gets ridiculous coverage against everything in the first 3 fights here, with one exception, which is where Straw Doll comes in. And yeah, it's a power Aya, so power Aya is basically like Cinccino in Pokemon. It has skill link, it has really good speed, more speed than Cinccino, but it's got a little bit less attack than Cinccino has, if I remember rightly. No wait, Cinccino's got 95. No, it's actually stronger than Cinccino. So it's essentially a Cinccino with different typing. So Twister and Fo.Atk are both stab, and then Spirit Stone Jig is there for coverage as well. All 3 of these are basically 125 base power moves with a bit more stability in terms of the variation on them. Variation's not actually that high in this game anyway, but it's still there, and damage rolls can happen, so yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. But these 3 moves combined hit everything except 2 puppets in the first 3 fights of the Elite Four here for super effective damage. One of those is Futo, which is hit 4 times effective by Spark Javelin, which is why that's the 4th move here. And a couple of them are very heavily physical in terms of their defense, so Rush Attack being a spread attack actually helps a lot here. You don't really need to get an S rank in special attack as well, or spread attack I should say. I'm probably just going to use the Pokemon terms here, let's be honest, but yeah, you don't need that S, because I was running with an E-1, the lowest IB you can get, and it was still perfectly fine. So you mostly just need to get an S in focus attack for stuff that way. The Art of Combat is basically an expert belt. You need that to be able to get the KO on Raikou in the 2nd fight, and you then need to switch it to Straw Dolls to get the 1-hit KO on Kokoro with her Twister, because that's the strongest attack you've got against her basically, and it's not super effective. So you need both the Red Emblem for attack increasing nature and Twister with the Straw Doll to get the 1-shot. If you don't get the 1-shot, then you can survive her Arclight, but if she crits you, then you're kinda screwed. So Straw Doll switching items from the 2nd to 3rd fight is going to be the most stable way of doing this, but not absolutely necessary. Anyway, then we kind of have Ran, who is there as the cleanup for the Shinki fight, the last one. And if you don't have Ran, then so long as you have an illusion or sound attacker, like sound type or illusion type, so you have stab against it, and you have either form of Marissa, then you can deal with the last fight. Preferably Power Marissa, because Speed Marissa doesn't always kill Yorihime in one hit, even if you have the Onyx for boosting her dark attack. So yeah, Power Marissa's pretty good though. And then you have a 3-man team that works against Shinki instead. But because of Morale Booster giving you extra physical attack, then Ran can kind of take on most of the last fight by herself. So definitely go ahead and do that. In fact, she can take on the entire last fight by herself, but that would then involve you switching your party round, and you don't really want to do that if you're going to do multiple sessions here, because essentially this party gets kept the way it is even after you end the credits, and the credits can be ended like immediately, so you don't want to switch if you can avoid it. So let's just go ahead and show the fights off then, and we can see just how ridiculous this all is. I'm not going to obviously show the text and stuff too much here because it's not relevant. What is relevant is the fights themselves. So, with Moko, you need to be about level 98 to 100 in order to actually take on the fights here, so you will have to do a fair bit of grinding. Hopefully you've kept your prismatic candies for the end of the game, because that helps that stuff a lot. Otherwise, be prepared to grind Aya out a lot in like the ice cave or something, because that's where you'll get most of your stuff. So you actually can kill Moko with just Twister, even though it's neutral, but you've got super effective coverage, you may as well use it. And yeah, this is essentially how we set things up. So, Futo, like I've said, wind and water, so 4 times weak to electric. She does have smoke deployed to lower your attack, which is annoying if you're using speed, the green emblem, on your Aya. But if you're using the green emblem on your Aya, then Kokoro becomes a damage roll, so it's not really worth it. Utsuho is fire and fighting, so in this form at least, so she is weak to wind. She's fire and light in the other form, but I don't think the other form is seen like ever here. Yomu in speed form is steel, and I think she has the nether typing, but that's not really too important. Fact is, she's steel, which is weak to earth, so you just hit her down with that. It doesn't matter if you get crits or not, because you're not actually in any danger of missing any kills. And then you have Suwako, who is Water Earth, and Earth is weak against fighting because Earth is basically a combination of rock and ground, which always confuses me in this game at the moment. You know, ground is not weak to fighting and a lot of the stuff that rock was, and so I always get confused with that. Anyway, then you got Flandre, who dies to pretty much anything, but she's weak against fighting, and you're already selected on fighting, so you may as well just use that attack. It honestly doesn't make a difference. So yeah, first fight down ridiculously quickly. I have all of the experience boosting stuff possible. There are 3 experience boosting items. You get 2 combat handbooks, which are lucky eggs, and then you get a native grace, which is double experience and double power points. Power points are something another mechanic we could go into later, but yeah, basically you get double experience, which is what you need for this. Anyway, Ellis here is dark. Is it dark and electric? No, she's electric type anyway, so you hit her with this. Obviously, you hit her with the attack. I can't remember, I think it is dark and electric, but then she'd be weak against fighting, and I don't think she is, so I don't remember. Anyway, the point is you can hit her with that. You don't hit her with wind because that form is not weak to that. The other form is, it's poison type, but yeah. Yuuka is one of the characters you really need a spread attack for here, because she has like 180 something base defense, I think it is. It's kind of ridiculous. But she is nature and earth, so she's weak to fighting. And that's the important thing here. Spoilers, this is not Raikou, but it's still weak against Earth because it's actually Hobgoblin or Illusion Nue, who is Illusion and Electric type. So the Electric type, of course, is weak to Earth, and you just kind of break her face with that, which is fine. And then we get Remelia, who is dark and fighting? I want to say dark and fighting, yeah, because dark and wind is the other form. And because it's fighting, obviously wind is good against it, so that is fine. And that's really all you need to do against her. And then you have Carson, who I know is fighting type. I think Illusion might be the other type, but I'm probably completely wrong with that. The point is, she's a fighting type, so she's weak against wind. And you, once again, have the super effective coverage just to deal with her. So, really, Aya just kind of breaks everything here. Now, Raikou herself, I think, is electric and sound. So, electric, weak to earth, but pretty physically bulky, considering Aya is not the most powerful character out there. So you do need a damage boost in order to deal with her there, unless you get a crit on one of your hits, but you know, that's not reliable in the slightest, so try not to rely on that. Because, yeah. Anyway, once you are done with that fight, you want to put the Straw Dolls on Aya, because now, basically, we need it for one puppet here, and, yeah, that is Kokoro from Yumiko's fight here. So, Kokoro doesn't come out first though, Sakuya comes out first, and Sakuya always confuses me because her main form is Steel and Illusion, but the power form is Steel and Fighting. So you need to use a fighting attack here. Fighting resists Earth, so Earth does not work, and Steel resists Wind, so Wind doesn't work. So you really just need to use the fighting hit, get the one shot, and you will be good to go. So you will lose health from the Straw Dolls, but that doesn't matter. Tenshi is, I believe, just pure Earth and very physically bulky. So once again, the spread version of fighting stuff here is really good. Aya does get access to basically high jump kick in the form of Transcend Form, I think it's called, but it's unreliable at best. You know, 90% accuracy, and it kills you basically if you miss it, and it kind of sucks. So here is the only character that you cannot actually hit super effectively in these first first three fights here. But with a power version of Aya, with not power version, with the Red Emblem on Aya and the Straw Dolls, you can still one-shot her. If you're using a Green Emblem for the speed, then Transcend Form can one-hit KO, but it's a damage roll, and it's inaccurate, so not super reliable there. Miko is light and fire, and so she's weak to earth because fire is weak against that. She probably dies to Twister as well, though, especially Straw Doll Twister, she dies to that, but just to show, you know, the damage stuff here, if you're not using Straw Dolls but still using the combat handbook, you probably want to use specifically there. Then we have Byakuren, who is fighting and light, and therefore is weak to wind. She also has really low defense, so she kind of gets 2-shot instead of like 5-shot here, which is kind of fun. And the last doll is still Yumiko. So yes, Yumiko sent out Yumiko. And Yumiko is pure steel, so either fighting or earth works here. I mostly just use earth because it's a faster animation, and it kills her in fewer hits, because max investment in attack and all of that fun stuff. So there we go. Now, you could go ahead and heal up here, and I think what Ross does at this point is that he heals up and switches to the Champions Medal, which is basically King's Rock in the main games. But because I have Ran, and Ran is going to take care of the Shinki fight for the most part, I'm not going to do that because I'm wanting Aya to go down before too long in this fight. So, yeah. Anyway, Shinki cheats because she has max EVs on all of her Pokemon, which is not possible. Like, she has the maximum 64 points in everything, which is not doable for yourself. So, you need a bit more firepower than you normally would in this fight to knock her out. I think it's actually the same. Slow was saying it was the same for a normal fight too, so that's kind of annoying. Anyway, with the Straw Dolls, even though you can't hit Mima super effective, Mima is never a light, which is 4 times weak to dark, but not weak to anything else. But she's also pretty frail physically, unlike Yukari over here, who doesn't give a crap about anything. But yeah, Mima you can kind of one-shot with Straw Dolt, Twister. Yukari you cannot. Yukari takes about 70% and that's it. So yeah, sometimes not even that. Low damage rolls a little bit there, but it doesn't make any bit of difference, because the idea is that Yukari kills off Aya, and then you switch to Ran and dominate from there. Yukari is Illusion and Dark, so she's weak against Illusion itself. Illusion is kind of like Dragon typing that way. So Ran can do about 70-80% at neutral damage at +0, so she'll kill with that very easily. And then for some reason Yorihime comes out next. I have no idea why. She's Steel and Light, which is weak against Earth and Fire and Dark, but Ran doesn't really have access to Dark outside of Changeling, and Changeling would force you to switch out, so not really a good idea. But Fire Javelin here is one of her stab moves actually. She's Illusion and Fire, so this will guarantee getting the kill. It's better to use Fire Javelin than to use Burn Strike, because Burn Strike is 90% accurate and therefore will miss a lot of it sometimes, so it's not so good. Toyohime here is another Water and Wind character. Unfortunately, Ran doesn't get access to any electric moves that are capable of getting the kill. Illusion Sign Electric is never enough to kill Toyohime. So you basically just have to deal damage to her as much as you can. Water Cannon doesn't do a whole lot because it's basically Water Spout, so Toyohime for some reason uses that instead of Cold Rain, and against Ran here, probably because she was at full health at the start of the turn. And when she does that, she doesn't actually do anywhere near enough damage to Ran. But even if she did get the one shot, or attempt to get the one shot, I do have the black, whatever the Focus Sash item, I can't remember what it's called, it's like Black Choker or something, just to guarantee surviving that. You could have the anti-water charm as well, that would definitely work. Then Power Sariel is pure Dark, which is neutral to Illusion. Normally you would want a light type attack here, but at this point you're at +3 attack, and even at +1, Mirage Edge is enough to take out Sariel in one hit, so she's not particularly bulky that way. And then we have Shinki herself. Do not, by the way, ever try to status Shinki, because Shinki has a charm against that. She basically has the Lumberry, as St. Elmo's Fire, which is a knockoff attack here, will demonstrate. So it doesn't matter which of your illusion attacks you use, so you only really need Mirage Edge. But yeah, there's the healing charm. Morale booster procs, even though there's no puppets left to deal with. And that is the fight. So you really only need 2 puppets to deal with this. And once you have those 2, you can do this extremely quickly. Literally 4 or 5 minutes or so. Probably 5 if you don't have animations off and stuff. Can you turn animations off actually? Yeah, you can. So if you want it to be even quicker, turn the animations off and it will go ridiculously fast. But yeah, that's pretty much all you do. And then when you're done with that, you can see the Art of Combat still selected, so you give that back to Aya so you can start the whole process again, and gap map your way back to Makai. And there you go. That's it. That's all you need to do in order to grind out stuff. And you'll very often get, you'll always get 6 of an item. You'll very often get either magical fragments or, which is used for reincarnation stuff, but you'll also quite often get magical crystals or gold coins. Both of those are worth 10,000 each to sell, so you basically get 60,000 to fight. Sometimes you'll get vintage wine, which is worth half of that, and then if you're unlucky you'll often get lesser value stuff, but you'll quite often make anywhere between 120 and 180,000 zenny per run. I say zenny, that's Monster Hunter yen basically. Yeah, you'll make a lot of money per run, and even though you need a lot to get all the competitive items, if you're going to be raising a lot of different puppets anyway, which you probably will be, let's be honest, to do competitive stuff, it goes by quicker than you would think. So, hopefully, if anybody is playing this game as well and was wondering how to prepare themselves for the post-game bollocks, then once you can do the reincarnation with a Rainbow Stone, this is the way to go to get your team set up to fight other people. So yeah, this has been GameCow, showing off the grinder method in both the dance performance, and until next time, take care.